Hello there, everyone. Welcome to a Eador Genesis New Horizons modding question video. I would like to make some changes to the heroes in regards to their stat lines. But I don't want to make such a large change without your input. I definitely want feedback, and in particular, your permission to do it. Before I go into why I want to make the changes, I thought I should stress that I've always felt that a Let's Play is a group thing. You are watching me play the game, but if I mod the game heavily or I tweak things, it can be not as enjoyable for you viewers to watch. If I make things too easy, for example, I feel that robs us from some of the struggle that is enjoyable for me to watch. If I make things too hard, then I don't have fun playing the game, even though perhaps many of you would enjoy watching me struggle more. But there's been quite a bit of feedback you guys have been giving me in the Eador Genesis New Horizons videos, and a great amount of it has been very helpful, with me not even understanding how some things worked or being completely unaware of some of the things I can do or some helpful interactions of the game, such as when the events pop up and the game's telling me what's there in my province. Completely would have missed it without you guys. And in the past, when I've wanted to make changes to New Horizons, I put the question to you guys as to how much we should change them, if at all, and what those changes should be. And so, that is what this video is going to kind of be. Having finished the last shard, I am beginning to notice that the hero stat lines have a focus on their initial selection rather than the hybrid choice that you get to make at level 10, although there also seems to be some exceptions for this. For example, if you hire a warrior as your initial hero, or not as initial hero, when you hire a warrior hero, that hero will always have a preference to max their health at level 10. Or rather, the class you choose at level 10 will still focus on the warrior's health as their primary stat line, even though you have hybrided them. I thought that the level 10 selection would steer their career path a little bit more than it does. And, well, I would like it to steer their career stat line a little more than it does. And so I want permission to change them. This once again means that my version of the game is going to be different than what you can download, and as such it's important for me to get your permission to do this. I also want feedback for the fear of this throwing the balance of things a bit out of whack. But I think it will be acceptable from my just staring at these numbers and thinking about it. But, once again, that's me. You guys may stare at these numbers and be like, no, Tim, this is awful. And so, if that's the case, then I won't do it. So, the idea that I'm having is that I want the classes to feel a little more unique. And I also want them being standardized somewhat. I feel that the choice you make at level 10 should be a large detour and not a small one. It would also let me tone down the heroes just a tad, since I intend to only allow them 9 stat points, leveling from level 11 to 20, rather than the 10 they get at the moment. And just in case you don't know what I'm talking about when I'm referring to stat lines, a stat point is earned whenever your hero is leveled, or upon hiring a hero. They get 1 point in their command, magic, and health. and these affect both the tiers of units and spells that they have access to, and the numbers of those things. Max health improves more than just your health as well. It improves your stamina and morale. The higher ranks of these, the higher tiers and more of those values that you get. How I plan on doing it can be seen back here on the spreadsheet. The original heroes currently in New Horizons are listed over here on the left-hand side. What I want to change them to is over here on the right. The idea is as follows for the base heroes. They lose a point in their primary stat and pick up that point instead in their tertiary stat. So the commander and warrior gain 1 more point of magic. The warrior loses 1 max health, and the commander loses 1 max command. The wizard loses 1 max magic and picks up 1 max command, and the scout remains unchanged. This does mean that none of these starting classes would gain access to a 4th level spell, nor a 4th tiered unit. You're going to have to level them to at least level 11 and hope they gain those points in commands or magic to gain that spot. At level 10, the class that you choose determines how your other stat points are awarded to you. If you choose a warrior, you will gain 5 points in your primary stat and 2 in your secondaries. The commander gets 5. Well, actually, I guess any class is 5 for their primary stat and 2 in their secondaries upon reaching level 10. The commander's primary is command. The mage's primary is magic, and the warrior's primary is health. The scout would get 3 points in everything, because I always viewed him as a generalist, as opposed to as focusing onto one thing in particular. And once again, you can see how this would end up. You can see the differences between the right-hand side, which is what I want to do, and the left-hand side, which is what they are currently. What really drove this home for me is how the commander classes, no matter what class you choose, always has 10 max command, which feels a little broken to me. I'm probably going to get some feedback on that statement, but it's always felt broken to me, just how powerful the commanders in particular are, and how quickly they can level compared to the other classes, or at least that's been my experience. So, once again, I will not do this if you viewers would prefer that I don't. There's 2 ways to tell me that you really don't want this, or that you do want it. I can be first off, I can be persuaded with a good argument. So if you go into the comments section, you tell me, Tim, this is not going to work for all of these reasons. I can be convinced no matter what else is the result of my wanting to do this. I would like to think that I can see things clearly when they're explained to me about how I might mess up a game's balance. And I've done it in the past, where I've made mistakes, people have pointed out to me, and I'm like, yeah, you know what, you're right, this was broken, I shouldn't have done this, and so on. But if you don't care to leave a comment, and you're willing to give it a try, or you don't want to leave a comment, but you don't like the idea of these changes, I am aware that I have more viewers than commenters, as it were. And so here's how we can tally the votes. If you like the changes to the stat lines that I'm proposing, leave a thumbs up on this video. I will have a comment, a pinned comment from myself, down below in the comments section. And if you don't want to see these changes, leave a thumbs up on the comment. So that is how I will tell who's voting for what. If the upvotes on the comment equal the comments on the video, then I will not make the changes. Please don't thumbs up this video because you like hearing my voice. Or only thumbs up this video if you like the changes I'm proposing and wouldn't mind seeing me try them. I thought this would be a fun thing to try in order to make the characters feel a bit different from each other, both in terms of, well, actually, quite different from each other, in terms of their army composition, what spells they can bring to the table, and how resilient they are. Oh, and don't pay any attention to the skills that you see over here. I had some ideas for changing some of the skills to make them more attractive to take. I've always felt some of them are a little lackluster. However, I have no intention of making those changes until we're done with this playthrough. And even then, it'll probably be something I do whenever I play through the game again. Not that I'm intending to play through the game again on screen, but I could be convinced to do so after we beat Eador the first time, if I'm allowed to make even greater changes to it. But in any case, this is only about the stat line differences here. So you can let me know what you think, and I would appreciate it. And if nothing else, I really enjoy discussing these things with you guys. And I've always enjoyed when people bring a good point to a discussion, and I'm able to walk away with a better understanding of it, and perhaps even being convinced that, yeah, you know what, that's right, I shouldn't do these changes, or wow, yeah, that's a good point, hadn't thought of that before, okay, not gonna do it, or stuff like that. So I definitely want you guys to feel that you have a say in this, because you absolutely do. And I'm beginning to babble and talk in circles, so I will stop here. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope it was interesting. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to vote. And I will hopefully... And we'll talk about this before we invade the next shard. Because I will make any changes. If we are going to make the changes for the stat lines, I will do them then. Before we invade the next shard. And we'll get a chance to see how they work. On that, well, I guess one more thing really quick. The game may not support me actually stripping a stat point from the heroes. I think it will, but it might not. So if it doesn't, then, well, I'll find out at some point when the game goes to look for a stat point and can't grab it. In which case, I can probably still fix it right then and there, but hopefully it won't come down to that. Alright, thank you all for listening.